Yesterday and last night in the NBA, we saw some fairly uninteresting games. Obviously, so we saw the Bucks eliminate the Magic. No one's really surprised by that. We saw a blowout with Oklahoma and Houston, and then we saw the Lakers take out the Trailblazers, which once again everyone sort of expected with Damian Lillard being injured. But what we didn't expect, although if you've been covering the NBA or watching the NBA for quite some time, is the way that Carmelo Anthony played. And we'd seen instances of this, especially this season, actually, where you could see that his game was sort of... He had suppressed his game a little bit offensively, wasn't nearly as aggressive in order to fit in with the team concept. And with Lillard being out, obviously CJ McCollum got a lot of shots and he played a pretty good game as well. But the second option on offense was without a doubt Carmelo. And he delivered. He had a fantastic game, was scoring at will in the first half, especially up against LeBron, facing up, setting good screens, pick and pop situations, all of that. He was looking very, very aggressive and very, very locked in. And it led to a lot of excitement in the NBA, especially with some older fans who were saying, hey, we really missed this out of Carmelo. And it's funny because when he was very good in New York and Denver, a lot of the same people that reached out to me and just shot me emails or texts, that were the ones that were critical of the way he was playing, but he's playing pretty much the same way that he was playing, especially in New York. Not so much in Denver. Denver, he wasn't... he was much more of a wing player. Whereas in New York, he could go into the post. And he was a lot closer to the basket, and that's really what we saw in Portland. Although there was obviously mixes and variances of it, his game is so versatile that you don't just see him in the post exclusively. You don't just see him on the wing exclusively. But with that excitement, people are talking about his future. And when I was watching the game, I was wondering if this is the last time we're going to see him on an NBA court, at least. And the reason I say that is you look at it from this standpoint. He gets closure. If he walks away, he gets closure. He will have... he will be going out somewhat on his terms. Whereas with Oklahoma and Houston, both of those situations looked like they weren't going to be on his terms. They were going to... He was basically... It was like a Terrell Owens situation in the NFL, where... he could still play, but was he worth it? In terms of the distractions, can you find enough shots for him? Can you get the ball to him enough? Can you accommodate him enough? And that wasn't really... I think he wanted some closure in terms of walking away from the game. So if he walks away from the game, it's when people sort of want him to still play. And I think every athlete, or most athletes, they want to be able to walk away knowing that they can still play the game, not because they're forced out of it. So he would get that. The other thing is, of course, he had a fantastic game against LeBron, and we know the storyline, we know the context when it comes to those two. Forget just the fact they're from the same draft class. They played each other in high school. You can make a really good argument that Carmelo deserved Rookie of the Year over LeBron. Carmelo won a title in college whilst LeBron was setting the world on fire on a high school level. And then when they came into the pros, they played the same positions. They were rivals for a long period of time, especially in the Eastern Conference, where you could make an argument that they were, two of the top two small forwards in the NBA. And that includes, of course, Kevin Durant. And that's how good Carmelo Anthony really was in 2012, 2013, because he was that effective of a scorer. Kevin Durant was a great, great shooter, great wing player, but as I said before, Carmelo was able to go into the post, and that added level of versatility, I think, separated him at that period of time. Obviously, career-wise, Durant's better than him. No one's going to argue that, and at their peak, Durant is better than him too. But at that period of time, I would have probably taken Carmelo over Durant, at least offensively. Durant was never a strong defensive player, but neither was Carmelo. Getting a little bit off topic with that, though, but the point that I'm making with Carmelo is if he is to walk away, this is a pretty good situation. And also, you've got to take into account, I know what he said to the media after, where he said that he would love to come back to Portland. That could be leverage. That could be him trying to leverage the Blazers because, obviously he signed a 1 year veterans minimum contract to come and play for the Blazers, the way that he's played, he'll probably get offers. But maybe those offers aren't good situations for him. And with the headaches involved with, going to a new team, are they going to be able to fit him into the concept? Is he going to go back to trying to score a lot of points and not play he played pretty good defense this past season as well. A lot better intensity on the defensive end, at least. And then you've got to take into account Portland's situation. They've got Rodney Hood. They've got Trevor Ariza coming back. They're already got a lot of money invested into Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Will they be able to make a quality offer to Carmelo Anthony? And I guess it would come down to would Carmelo accept another minimum contract? I don't think he should. I think he's played far too good in his return to accept a minimum contract. Now, is he at the point where he's like, well, I fit in here, they appreciate me? It's still a business. And I don't know if Carmelo will be able to accept that kind of disrespect. He obviously took it because he wanted his foot back into the foot in the door to come back into the league. He's had that opportunity. He's proven his worth. I don't think he should still be working for the league minimum, in that situation. So, it's an interesting thing. Watch how it plays out, but keep in mind that might have been the last time we see Carmelo on the NBA court, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The careers have to come to an end at some point. I would much prefer Carmelo to walk away in that kind of an environment as opposed to what we saw, say, with Allen Iverson, where no one in the league wanted, or even Carmelo, prior to Portland picking him up. And so it's going to be an interesting development. Nothing is set in stone with that, but we'll have to wait and see. If you want my honest opinion on it, I think he comes back. I think the Blazers would probably offer him somewhere in the $5 to $10 million range for one season. But it wouldn't surprise me if they lowballed him, and it wouldn't surprise me if he walked away. And if he does, he's obviously a Hall of Fame player for his Olympic career alone. And then you take into account how successful he's been on the NBA level. And I mentioned before, obviously winning a college championship as a freshman. So without a doubt, a Hall of Fame player from all levels, college, the pros, and then the Olympics. So it should be interesting.